You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. We've got Brent Baker joining us here in just a moment. Going to visit with him about the real estate market. Also, coming up later this hour, it is a Movie Star Monday, and we've got Alicia Cooper joining us. And she's been in several movies, but she's also a stand-up comic. She's got a brand new comedy special out, and we're going to chat with her all about that. It's a busy week. We got a lot of stuff going on. This weekend, we've got, there's a great performance at the South Dakota Military Heritage Alliance. It's called Last Out, and it's a veteran who had put together this program, and it's a stage play that looks amazing. And they'll be having performances on Friday evening and on Saturday evening. And then there's also an air show. That's this weekend. Chislic Festival is this weekend. I've got many guests that we're going to talk to about many fun things. It's a busy, busy week. So if you don't have plans this weekend, you better make some because there's stuff to do, a lot of stuff to do. We're going to chat all about more of that coming up. And like I said, we've got Brent Baker on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Give yourself a little credit.
It's more important than ever to have a better credit card. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to bettercreditcards.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. Excited to have Brent Baker join us right now with Clients First and Keller Williams. How are you, sir?
I'm great today.
I'm excited to have you in here. It's been a couple of weeks.
It has been.
This is a busy time of year for you guys, though, isn't it?
It is, and we enjoy it, and sometimes you get a little tired at the end of the day, but...
Well, but the thing that's nice, I've heard the phrase, and you come from a farming background, you've heard the phrase, make hay while the sun is shining.
That's exactly it.
This is the time. So if people right now are thinking, I've wanted to sell this house, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Or hey, I've been thinking maybe I should buy a house, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I know interest rates just dipped down a little bit, so that's a good thing. But this could be, there's no time like the present to say, let's buy, let's sell, let's get this done. But one of the things we're going to talk about today is you've got a checklist, things that you can do to avoid costly repairs. And I think this is really cool, the home maintenance checklist. This will help, even if I'm not in the market to buy or sell a house. If I've got a house, I want to take care of that, don't I?
Well, you do. It's a very large investment, and shelter is a big requirement for everybody's life. So whether you're buying today or tomorrow, you really need a place to go and to protect that investment. And so as a realtor, you walk through some properties and you see occasionally a property that's been let go. And sometimes it's because they are so busy with kid activities. But at some point, it needs to be corrected or it becomes a big issue. A small thing becomes that big issue, and it also detracts from your property.
And then that will cost you in the end, because now when it's time to sell, if this problem that was a little thing turned into a big thing, all of a sudden that decreased the value of the property.
Correct. It could become an appraisal issue. It could become a health or safety issue. And people are caught off guard, or they say, well, I want to sell it as is. Well, bear in mind, a lot of buyers don't have skills.
Yeah.
And when they're buying a home, they don't have extra cash.
And there are things that on this checklist I'm seeing, things like the roof and the gutters. And, that's probably a good place to start. Start at the top and work your way down. Then we got siding and other things. But let's start with the roof. What should they look at when it comes to making sure the roof is taken care of?
One is, what is the age of the shingles on that home? Some areas have had hailstorms, so it's getting a roof inspector up there to evaluate. Is there storm damage? How much granular loss is there? And sometimes we have nail pops, or we have exposed nails on, say, the vents that need to be caulked. I just looked at an inspection report this morning, and we can see where the roof vents have lifted up. And so there's potential for moisture to get back underneath. When I looked at the other day, there was some pretty significant hail damage on a vent. Seller is saying, well, I don't remember a hailstorm here for several years, but
Yeah.
Here again, the evidence was there, and those shingles were older, and so not much grain left. So it's important to know that your roof is good, because the outside pieces of your home, your roof, your siding, your windows, think of those as an envelope.
Yeah.
The really important part in a letter is the contents of that piece of paper inside.
Yeah.
But the envelope is what protects it and delivers it to its final destination. And that's what the shell of your house is.
Absolutely.
So even though you like your pretty kitchen and bathrooms and all of that, the exterior of your home is actually the most important piece.
If it's not moisture resistant, all of a sudden inside you've got water problems and mold problems and a lot of problems. So
a lot of problems.
Make sure it's taken care of on the outside first. Another thing on the list here was gutters. And sometimes it's probably just as simple as making sure they're cleaned out. Because the home that we bought, they had a weird gutter system. And then I got up to look at the gutters, and they were full of mud, just like gunk and like rotted leaves. So the gutter system that they had that was supposed, this weird gutter system to get the water away, it was pointless because they were full.
Well, that's exactly it. You have to keep them clean. And even on new construction, I have been up on the roof of new construction and looked in the gutters, and you go, well, how did that stuff get in there?
Yeah.
But so at any age, you have to check your gutters. I have a neighbor with a beautiful big evergreen, but it gives off needles and cones.
Oh, yeah.
And so that tends to block it up. And gutters are a really important piece because you want to get that moisture not away from the foundation of your house. Sometimes people have water in their basements and they don't know why. Well, there's no gutters, or the gutters are full, and the downspouts are not carrying the water away from the foundation.
Yeah, that's
a lot of foundation issues are related to poor gutters or no gutters.
And that's a recipe for disaster. If you've got water just sitting there, it's got to go somewhere.
It does.
And we're talking right now, going through a checklist, and we're going to wrap up today, but we're going to continue this conversation next week about home maintenance checklist. And if somebody listening is going, hey, I'd kind of like to get a copy of that, can they reach out to you and chat about that?
Certainly they can.
And Brent, how do they get a hold of you?
I can be found at 605-310-0297 or Brent Baker at kw.com.
Very nice. Brent Baker has been our guest. I'll throw a link to his information as well at facebook.com/Sunny Radio and facebook.com/Sioux Falls News.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
This Day in Sioux Falls History brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page and Sunny 93.3. It was on this day, June 24th, 1978, a strange set of circumstances put Sioux Falls citizen and Chief Justice of South Dakota Supreme Court Roger Woolman swearing in his younger brother Harvey Woolman as governor of South Dakota. Roger Woolman had served as an associate justice on the state Supreme Court for 10 years before becoming Chief Justice in 1978. At the time, his younger brother Harvey was the lieutenant governor of South Dakota. Some jested that if by some strange circumstance Governor Knipe, another Sioux Falls politician, couldn't complete his term, Roger Woolman would get the chance to swear in his little brother as governor. Well, as fate would have it, 5 months before the end of his term as governor, Governor Knipe was appointed by President Jimmy Carter as the U.S. ambassador to Singapore. So, of course, he was required to resign as governor of South Dakota. Harvey Woolman is the only lieutenant governor in South Dakota history to succeed the governor's office. He had served for 3.5 years as the lieutenant governor, finishing out the last 5 months of the term for Governor Richard Knipe. To make matters even more strange, Harvey Woolman had run and lost in the primary to be the Democratic nominee in the governor race that fall. So he was the governor for 5 months, didn't even have the opportunity to run to keep the seat. The Democratic candidate, by the way, was Roger McKellips. He was defeated handily by Governor Bill Janklow. This Day in Sioux Falls History has been brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page and Sunny 93.3.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If that's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current one. Whether you're a fan of iPhones or Samsung, they both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, July 24th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets advanced the previous week, but the sign of economic cracking continues to grow. The S&P 500 moved higher for the session and set another new high despite the signs of cracking and an expectation for the FOMC to hike rates by another 25 basis points. The move would put the base rate at the highest level in nearly 2 decades, and there's a chance this won't be the last cut. More information will come out Wednesday with the Fed's policy statement and Friday when the PCE price index is released. This is also the busiest week of the Q2 earnings reporting season. Nearly 200 S&P 500 companies will be reporting. That brings the total for the season close to 50%. There's a high expectation that the season will end better than expected relative to its start, but the outlook continues to decline. In this scenario, there is little reason for the market to sustain a rally, and every reason to think a top in the market is near. You can get the inside track in your inbox at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To save money on insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. Do you have the best plan for you? Find out at InsuranceChicken.com. Let's face it, we don't even want insurance. We need it. But you don't need to overpay. Head over to InsuranceChicken.com to see your rates from several different companies. All available in one place at InsuranceChicken.com. The other guys have a gecko, a duck, and an emu. Why not a chicken? InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.